Got some root chakra hang drum playing in the background. Ground rise, blessed be to the day. May be everything that you require to create everything that you desire. And today being the moon day, and the moon represents the aspects of our change in that internal aspect. It's this day that we learn to invest into the change to expand. The revelation of secrets, the privacy retreat. Wisdom and experience shared through the voice of remembrance. Most times, to avoid surrendering, the fear of disassociation, it forces one to mask in a false sense of dignity. That's my take on a secret. Truth is, there will always be a secret something. There will always be a secret something. But why? There will always be a sense of secrecy. There will always be we like to call it, there will always be this sense of secrecy. There will always be this sense of this thrill for secrecy, to keep things private, not understanding the difference between privacy and secrecy in itself. That's one of the major keys, not understanding the difference between privacy and secrecy itself. When we're moving in a state, when we're moving in that state of balance with ourselves in privacy, privacy is based upon the boundaries of our healthiness and our expansion. Secrecy would be on the other hand, the aspect of what secret, I always start with a simple question. What secret deep down, what secret within you, what secret within your space, within your that's buried deep down, that you use as, most of the times when we think about the family secret, the secrets we tell our friends, these things are these aspects, and then we get upset when people expound upon our secret, is because we haven't dealt with the underline or the ley lines of what brought that secret into place. So we use secrets in this way of, we use secrets in a way of the voice of remembrance of something and keeping ourselves in these bounds with ourselves. As long as we keep that secret going, as long as that secret is there, there will always be this sense of, there will always be this sense of an elite reason or an elite way to react. There's always an elite way to react. When we think about, because we get away with one thing, we keep it under wraps. We have to keep a whole lot of things under wraps. That's just the simple plane of it when we're thinking about this secrecy. A lot of the things that we come into within our spaces now, especially as we going forward, we're coming into this healing process, you're realizing that a lot of those secrets, a lot of those things that we've kept close to our chest, the things that we've kept close to our heart in that aspect, those are the very things that are keeping us from expanding. The things that you're keeping close to your chest that you feel are too much to bear, or it's gonna leave people judging you or keeping you in the disassociation. I'm here to tell you that the longer that you keep that in, the longer that you're going to project through that. When you keep this state of secrecy with yourself, you try to keep that trauma hidden, you try to keep from healing, you try to keep from letting it come to the surface, that's what you're going to see through. And that's everything that's going to come into your space that's going to challenge you investing into the changes. So you're always going to feel like somebody's holding something from you. You're always going to feel these narratives of this underground conflict with yourself because you have not first instilled within yourself the honesty of whatever secret it is, that trauma, where it lies at, how it brings you into that building. That's what we're here for. You have to expound and go deep within that, because this is what happens for a lot of us. I remember the first time this state of secrecy with just with origins of my family. Origins with my family. We'll put it under that title. Origins of my family. Origins of how I came into being. That's based upon my father and pops and all this narrative. For me, when I first found out, the first thing I wanted to do was speak out about it. I was moving through the realm of emotion, and I had this, as the more and more I spoke on this, the more and more disassociation or disassociated I came with my family. Just in that instance for myself. It wasn't until I embraced, I was like, well, this is a part of the differences on that line with yourself is when you relinquish the power that the secret has over you, when you relinquish this power, when you relinquish the control, that fear of surrendering, that fear of you bring yourself into that space, nothing has control. There's no more control. Remember, I've said it before, power has nothing to do with control. Authority has nothing to do with control. Authenticity and your authority have everything based to do with the aspects of your intimate, being in tune with your own power, being in tune with your own energy, being in tune with your own self. That's the authority. So when we think about the aspects of keeping that secret gives you some type of authority over something or holding something back, in reality it does. Because you're giving someone else authority or the power to keep you doing what you're doing. As long as that family secret, for example, as long as that family secret's in play, everything that's happening in that environment is going to happen through the streams of that family secret. Because now you're judging and you're gauging and you're always going to put yourself in this state of you need something in order for you to be able to expound upon your secret or give out that information or be open with yourself. This individual, that place, wherever you're going, they have to have something either equal or greater to in the external scape. That means you have to be able to give them, that means you've created in your space this illusion that I'm better, just because of what I've been through, this is the way that I am. You know why I'm this way. That's not how we invest into our changes. That's not how you go into a healing process. You should always, some of the narratives that we have to stop breaking with ourselves is we have to stop going to people and being around individuals that are in that space with themselves of this life chose me. Stop trying to go get information stop getting this information from people that are based on this life chose me. I have no control over my life, because you can't expand that way. You have to allow yourself to be challenged to go outside of this paradigm of yourself of what you were used to getting, what you were used to receiving based on that secret, based on that trauma, based on that secret doctrine, that table of contents that you don't want to expound to people. You have to get that under control first. I tell everybody, everybody every day, I tell clients, anybody I do a reading with, everything that you desire, everything that is going to be of true value to you is going to start with the aspects of you purging and doing that shadow work. That dream relationship that you want with no secrets. You want a relationship with no secrets, no holding back, honesty, vulnerability. You got to give it to yourself first. You have to give it to yourself first. You want that job, that line of work that's going to bring you into that's going to align you with your abundance so you're not worried about things anymore. You got to give it to yourself first. You have to give yourself that work first before you expound into anything. You come to a point in your life where you're going to start realizing that skipping that process, that means in the external sense of you jumping from relationship to relationship, jumping from job to job, all of these are all labeled on the same lines. All of these are labeled out on the same lines. That's why you keep doing it. Your circumstances don't ever seem to change. Because every time that you're going through what you're going through, you seem to always keep going back to the same points. And you never wonder why. Why I keep going back to the same point of where I started at just now. Why I keep going back over there. Why, no matter how many turns I make, I always end up back in the same place. The trauma, the aftermath of the trauma, the events that have led into that space, all those are coordinates. All those are coordinates. They're the coordinates to the ley lines. When you look up the definition of ley lines, it tells you the aspects of, like we think about Stonehenge, the pyramids, all of these great monuments strategically placed in a space to bring certain power and bring certain events. That's what you've done in your life. That original trauma, that original event that happened in your life, that original secret, you built upon that secret. You built upon that secret. Whether it was the secret of how you came up into your life based on the no father, no mother, or the relationships that were in the relationships that you thought were in shambles. Those are the coordinates to those ley lines. Because now you have created, or you've created or co-created these statues that you live in, or these definitions that you live in, and you put them on that space. Now they stand up. Now you have made a monument of what it is. You made a monument in not dealing with the aspects that happened with your mother. You made a monument of your mother, of what not to be in a mother. And that's the ley line that lays there. That's the feminine aspect of that energy. So you made a feminine byproduct of that energy on that line that's in that coordinate that's feeding from that power. So now you live through that. The aspects of you having a bad relationship with your father. Now you've made a monument and did the same thing in this aspect. Everything out here, outside of you, that triggers you into a certain space is deeper than the surface of that. And that's what we're going to get into this week on the God Hour podcast, ley lines. Accessing the gridlock. I want you to be the best. I want you to understand that becoming open, becoming honest, and becoming vulnerable are stages for you to come into your true self. Becoming open, becoming honest, becoming vulnerable to yourself are stages within yourself. You have to go through these stages. You have to go through these stages. You have to go through this process. That's why you're here right now, because that's why if it resonates with you, that means it's time for you to get through that process, or you've been through your process. I want you to be the best. That is what I require. That's what I require and desire for myself as the occult psychologist, as the divine masculine, so the father aspect. I'm always going to be in this space to provide that space, provide that information, give you the protection within the safe space for us to have these conversations. So, GODalchemist.com, or hit me in the inbox for reading, setting up a consultation so we can get that work done. It all starts with the work. It's not about the result, it's about the path. It's not about the result, it's about the path. Once you stop looking so far ahead and you start looking right down in front of you, that's when you'll get your clarity. Yeah. In order to truly evolve, one must truly invest in the change. As you invest into the changes, you then now become the observer of the investments and the investments in your change. I want you to be the best. I only require and desire you to be the best. I desire you to exceed all the limitations based upon those secrets. I want you to exceed all of the limitations based upon your trauma. And it starts with that aspects of that healing work. I love you. We love us. Ashe.